In the words of Andre 3000 and Big Boy from Outkast, it's time for you to get up, get out, and get something. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Now, you made it through episode 1 and 2. This is the third episode, and maybe the third time's a charm. And this week, I'm just coming at you talking about something real basic because in our industry, we're hitting this second quarter of the year, and there's a lot that's happening right now. A lot of ups and downs, and maybe not as much uncertainty in the market, but there's just a lot of chatter going on. There's a lot of chatter about the interest rates potentially go down in the third and fourth quarter of the year. And by the way, I am seeing the rates already go down. But we're also hearing a lot of talk about inventory. That's still an issue. There's also a bunch of lawsuits that are going on right now. Lawsuits are what they are. They happen all the time. I've heard it said a lot of times that if you aren't doing anything, then nobody's looking at you. And if you aren't being successful, then nobody's really thinking about trying to sue you. And if you're getting sued, you're probably doing something. But I don't want no lawsuit, so don't even worry about that. I don't want those problems. I don't have the time or the energy, and I don't have the money for the lawyer fees. I ain't even trying to deal with all this anyway. But lawsuits are happening, and I was posting something today about guys just sitting down talking as men, just to try to iron out the issues. Everybody's got a platform, everybody's got a microphone, social media, you got a camera. And they want to put out the narrative that they want the public to believe, but at the same time, like, you could take the opportunity to just man up and be like, or woman up and be like, yo, my bad, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I screwed up, I dropped the ball on this one. Let's just sit down, and hash out or iron out the issues. Especially with no mediation, or maybe mediation, but we don't need cameras rolling. We don't need to record anything. Let's just sit down and talk about it. And you'd be surprised as to how many issues can probably get resolved with just eyeball to eyeball, like just saying, I'm sorry. And forgiveness is there. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean that after that moment, everything, you get it back together and you move forward and everything is good. That's not what it means. What it means is that, like, I'm no longer carrying the weight and the burden of the issue, and I'm releasing the weight and the burden of the issue, and I'm releasing you from the weight and the burden of the issue, so we can just continue to move forward, whether it be in agreement or separately. But I just wonder what times it would be like now if we were able to resolve issues like we used to back in the day, before there was a lot of technology. And people still had issues back then. When I was in elementary school, there was a thing like you could actually get into a fight, and I'm not encouraging the violence, but you could get into a fight on the playground, after school, and you would iron out the issue that way, and it'd be over and done with. But we're not doing that nowadays, and it is what it is. But lawsuits happening, people arguing, a lot of stuff happening back and forth in the media. You know, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and I forget who else is in that rap beef or whatever. But in my opinion, nobody want to see J. Cole, so that is what it is. We got the Diddy stuff, all of that. We're getting ready to get into barbecue season. I'm excited about that. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is and really the point of this video is get up, get out, and get something. That was 1993. The group, one of my favorites, Outkast, Andre 3000 and Big Boy. They're from Atlanta, and that was one of their most famous lines in one of their songs off of their debut album, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music, and it's one of my it's a classic. But I remember, I think I was a junior in high school when that album came out, and we went to I had some guys went to Sam Goody or Kent Mill or wherever it was, and I got the tape. Still have it, as a matter of fact. And I just remember, man, get up, get out, and get something. And anytime I need some motivation, sometimes these songs or these lines pop in my head, and you know, yeah, I need to get up, get out of here, and go get it, right? Um, and in the world that I'm in sales, of course, and 100% commission. Like nothing's just going to come and fall in my lap. I gotta get up, get out, and go get it, right? I gotta make my phone calls. I have to follow up on my database, and sometimes that's difficult. But you can't get to the people until you first get your butt up out of bed, right? We have a joke in my family. My cousin Tyrone was staying with us, and he was driving the truck with my dad, and Tyrone was was asleep, and it was time to get up. And my dad was already up, had already gotten the truck started, and Tyrone hadn't gotten up yet. And Tyrone was a grown man, but Daddy went out there, started the truck up, came back in. You know, he's letting it warm up, whatever. Came back in. You know, I don't know if he's eating breakfast or got his breakfast or whatever, and finished getting his clothes on or whatever. And it was already time to go, past time to go, and Tyrone was still asleep, and my dad, walked in the room, like, Tyrone, get your butt up, get your butt up. So me and my brothers, we always laugh about that. So shout out to Michael and Mitchell, you too, Misha, because I don't even know Misha even remember, but that's just a family joke. But get your butt up, right? So you can't get to the people until you get your butt up, and I'm keeping this light because it is stressful in this business, right? You know, we're in the second quarter, and everything is starting to bloom, and they say April showers bring May flowers, but you gotta go out and get it, get up, get out, and go get something. So I've been asking a lot of um, my colleagues, and it's kind of launching me into this space of um, getting together with some guys, right? And I've been asking my colleagues, business partners, realtors, fellow loan officers, I've been asking them three things. Are you swamped? Are you steady? And are you struggling? Swamped, steady, or struggling? And you wouldn't believe how many people say the third, they're struggling. There's some that say steady, and probably just as many say swamped. But all of this is trying to get up and get out and get something. We're trying to obtain something. Now, if you don't know what it is you're trying to obtain, you'll find yourself swamped because you have no idea what you're really doing, and you don't have a mission, you don't have a goal, you don't have a why. And you'll have a hard time finding a good work-life balance. And swamp very well could look like um, you're making your phone calls. You know, you're checking your database. You're doing your social media thing. Um, you're also trying to be a great husband or wife. You could be trying to be a great parent. You want to serve your community, right? You have so many different things that you're juggling, and you just can't get it all together. You just can't keep everything in the right place, right priority, right sense of balance and timing. You know, you're trying to space your time out because we only have 24 hours in a day. Um, so you just can't get it all together. So you're just feeling overwhelmed or swamped. And I would challenge and even lovingly encourage you to figure out why, figure out what you're doing and why you're doing it, and what is the end goal. And then you begin to find some balance there. And then the second thing is that I have a number of people that are saying that they're steady. Now, steady could also mean that they figured out the why, and they have a sense of balance, but what they're balancing or juggling is a lot of craziness. And I find that there's probably more people in that group than really probably they probably want to be honest about. That they're steady, but they just kind of got numb to the rhythm or just caught up in the rhythm of it is what it is. Um, and I've had to ask myself that a few times over the past few months when this idea or this question popped into my head. And then there's the third part. The third one is struggling. And you wouldn't believe how many of my colleagues are struggling. Haven't closed a deal in a long time, don't know how to really get themselves going in the right direction. They're just kind of grasping at straws and doing anything and everything that they can to try to make ends meet, to try to find a sense of balance and stay healthy mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and just trying to, financially, it's not a healthy picture because they don't know where the next dollar is really going to come from. And my heart goes out to them because I've been there. There are a number of seasons that I've experienced, and I've been there. I've been a loan officer since 2003, and I didn't always give everything that I could give and pour out till I was empty in terms of my profession. I was single, but I wasn't living right, and I wasn't living my highest and best, and I wasn't a man of integrity. And I would show up when I would show up, and I would do what I could do, and I would kind of just flying by the seat of my pants, and that really didn't get me anywhere. But God looked out for me, and sometimes you get things you just don't really deserve. If you, right, when you look at your overall resume or look at your personal accomplishments, right? So, but that's where a blessing comes in, right? That's where God opened up a door for me to work at a bank, and I did that for from 2007 to 2000, really to 2010, split time between BB&T and SunTrust. And I had a salary, and I was still trying to work loans out, but I began to mature. My money still was struggling, and I was having to work a night job at Harris Teeter. And a lot of people don't really know that I was really really struggling. Um, because I wasn't given everything that I could, and my ends weren't meeting. So I'm cutting hair, working at Best Buy, working at Harris Teeter. I'm working at Foot Locker, and I think I was working at um, Structure, which ended up being like Express for Men, Champs, as a matter of fact. I was doing whatever I could to try to make ends meet, and and they weren't meeting. Matter of fact, they had no relation to one another. They never met. But I just kept at it. The one thing I know for certain is that like my grind and my work ethic has always been at a premium, not because I taught myself that, but I watched my dad and my mom do that. I watched my grandfathers, as a matter of fact. I watched my grandmothers. I had so many great examples of just work hard, go do what you can do, and go work hard at it. And but they knew their why, and they found balance. And they were sometimes struggling. Sometimes they were steady. Um, but then they also found themselves swamped. When I look back at it now, they might, trying to juggle all the things. It just you God gives you the grace to figure it out. And so I was struggling, and then I got into started working at Navy Federal Credit Union in 2011, and that's when things started to turn around big time for me. And 2016 or 2012, I met my wife. We were married 2014. Um, had a daughter in 2016. In that same year, 2016 was when I got into the retail space of lending, and life really began to change. Um, but there were still some struggles there as well. So my point is that you'll find yourself being swamped or steady or struggling in various seasons of life, and they don't always go in that order. And sometimes it comes in waves. But you got to know your why. You have to be firmly rooted and anchored in something that's beyond yourself. And what I firmly rooted myself in was my faith, number one, and I began to root myself in my family and my relationships, and and that was the thing that began to really turn things around for me. Again, the work ethic was never an issue, and it'll never be an issue, but I really had to be rooted in something that was beyond me. So, for those of you that are watching this and maybe even listening to it, and you're not, paying attention because you're doing other things, but it's in your ear, and you are struggling. Number one, I'm here for. Excuse me. I'm here for you. Um, for conversation. I'm here for uh, mentorship, guidance, um, counseling. Um, I'll give you what I have. I don't hold anything back. But I want to help you that are struggling navigate through this space because you want to get to being productive. Because you can be swamped with work and all the things, and it feels like everything is right. And you can Also, feel like you're steady, right? You're able to manage all the things that you're juggling. And you could also feel like you're struggling, right? But then the major question is, are you being productive, right? Because a man running or a woman running on a treadmill is still in motion, but they're not going anywhere. You go outside and you take that same motion and you're going around in different places. So you gotta be productive, whether you be swamped, steady, or struggling. Find a way to be productive, man. Um, I can't stress that enough because you only have a certain amount of time. You only have a certain amount of days. You only have a certain amount of opportunities. So you want to take advantage of those to the greatest sense of your ability. Um, Again, I'm here to serve you all. I've said it before. My three things: I trust God, I serve with gladness, and I'm here to go out and dominate, right? And however it goes, I will never, ever cheat on what I'm called and created to do. And I want to help inspire you all to not go out and just give halfway or none at all, if you will. If you've got 70% only in your tank, then give 70%, right? That's the experience that I had when, from 2003 up to probably 2006 or 7 of just kind of, I had 70%, might have had 100% to give, but I wasn't giving it. And it was showing because I was ending up struggling. And I had people around me that saw better in me than I saw myself and knew that I could do it. But it's up to me to do it. I had to get up, get out, and get something. And I'm challenging you lovingly, and I'm encouraging you today. Get up, get out, and get something. And whether you be swamped, steady, or struggling, find a way to be productive. That's all I got for you. You know who it is. You know what it is. Coach Marcus with the Fields Mortgage Group. When you see hurdles, we see house keys. This is episode 3. Peace out.